Everybody come back to work. Okay, we're going to resume our meeting. I guess we should start with a roll call.
Jimenez?
I know he's here. He's on his way.
He's on the road. Perales?
He's on the road.
Here. Cohen? Crosco? Here. Davis?
Here.
Esparza? Here. Foley?
Here.
Mahan?
Here.
Jones? Present. Licardo?
Present.
You have a quorum.
Thank you. Item 7.1 is Citywide Sustainable Park Maintenance Report. Welcome, John and team.
Thank you, Mayor. John Cicerelli, Director of Parks, Recreation, Neighborhood Services. I'm joined today by Avi Yotam, our Deputy Director for Parks Division, and Division Manager Tori O'Reilly, also in the Parks Division. Today we're here to talk about our annual park maintenance report, including highlighting a new system of evaluating parks. We've changed the system this year. It's produced some great results. I really want to thank Avi and his team for putting in the hard work to implement a new system that I feel certain is going to help us improve our parks, particularly the lower scoring ones. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to Tori. I believe, Tori, you beginning? To walk through a presentation, and then we're happy to answer any questions you have at the end.
Thank you, John. As John mentioned, Tori O'Reilly, Division Manager for Parks Maintenance and Infrastructure. So as you can see from this first slide, PRNS has an extensive inventory it cares for. At a high level, this comprises over 3,500 acres of parkland and 63 miles of trails, including caring for newly opened parks to San Jose's oldest park, Alum Rock, which is getting ready to celebrate its 150th anniversary this year. PRNS recognizes the importance of the responsibility they have been given, and staff are out in parks 365 days a year, rain or shine, ensuring that these amenities are available to the public. During the most restrictive days of the pandemic, parks were sometimes the only recreational spaces available to the community, especially those without any other green spaces. The dedicated park staff made sure these spaces remained available and safe to allow residents to have spaces to socialize, have fitness opportunities, play, and even in some cases worship. Next slide. Okay, so what guides us? In a snapshot, stewardship is what guides us in PRNS. We hold tight to these values, and our work is closely tied to them. Specifically, the city's Envision 2040 General Plan, Major Strategy Number 7, Measurable Sustainability and Environmental Stewardship, Major Strategy Number 10, Life amidst abundant natural resources, and Major Strategy 11, Design for a Healthful Community. We are also tied to Activate San Jose, PRNS's own plan, and its guiding principles of stewardship, nature, equity and access, identity, and public life. And last but not least, Climate Smart San Jose and its concept of natural working lands. Okay, so this next slide you're looking at here speaks to standards. In order to be good stewards of the environment and to the people of San Jose, the department has recently adopted standards of care for each amenity within our parks. Standards ensure every park is held to the same expectations regardless of the neighborhood it's in. Historically, parks with lots of complaints tended to get more attention, and typically these complaints came from more affluent neighborhoods. The squeaky wheel gets the grease type of. Having these standards strives to balance out the level and care in parks. Standards make us more proactive in our care and less reactive. All park districts have created work plans designed to have each amenity meet each of these standards. Okay, so we have our standards, and one important part of that is having feedback. And you can see this tree has several different areas of feedback. We've all heard it takes a village, and the same is true for feedback loop in park maintenance. By having multiple sources of feedback, we are able to capture multiple areas of concern that we may have otherwise missed. Our park condition assessments are our primary for formal feedback process, but we also have systems in place to get feedback from multiple user groups, including yourself, city council members, park users, volunteers, and our partners. The department is also piloting a park user survey, which will be rolled out in April and May. The survey is available in multiple languages. The user survey is online, but park intercept events are planned to reach users who might not traditionally take a survey or who may not have access to online surveys or be reached by our marketing due to a digital divide in their community. We look forward as a department to working with each of your council offices to promote our survey, which gives us a community and user perspective to complement our technical park condition assessment score and perspective. Okay, so as I mentioned, our primary tool for assessing parks is our park condition assessment. From the results of the park condition assessment, we create work plans to address individual items and systemic concerns. In the past year, our park condition assessment was completely revolutionized. We separated out capital items and focused just on what park staff maintain. The survey also received a technology overhaul, and including the use of GPS components. Previous assessments were done by hand, where the revised assessment is done completely online by users having iPads in the field. And the beauty of that is the iPads can take pictures and geotag, and it's linked to each of the individual park assessments. Instead of one overall numerical score for each amenity, the new assessment breaks each asset down to multiple areas that we assess. Each area is rated as a pass or fail, measured against park maintenance standards. The total number of pass or fails for each item gives the amenity its score. For instance, if there's 10 different categories we rated on, and 6 of those pass and 4 of those don't, that would be a 0.6. So our goal is to get a 1.0 for each one. The new assessment strives to remove subjectivity from the process. Doing so allows for a more accurate assessment. It also allows the department to more easily pinpoint the specific area we need to address. For example, in the past, we've simply looked at turf overall. Turf is our largest asset in any park. Now we rate multiple categories for turf, allowing us to pinpoint why it didn't meet the standard. And for example, is it brown? Is it because there's rodent holes in it? Is it there's weeds in it? So it allows us to more target our solution to it. So how are we doing? For this year's assessment, we rated 260 parks and scored 20 different amenities. The average score city-wise was a 0.87. It's difficult to compare last year's scores with this year's, as our methodology was completely different. So we're going to be using this year's scores as a baseline for future rating. The chart that you see gives a brief overview of how we did this past year. As you can see across the park system, Turf is the park feature which overall needs the most attention. Seeing this, the department has made turf care one of our priorities. The true power of the new park maintenance standard and PCA process is the highly detailed information it provides for each park that allows for very specific corrective actions and mitigations. Also seen on the bottom of this chart, it's kind of small, but it's the average per council district. Given the results from Council District 4 and 5, which unfortunately are the lowest, we looked at these parks at detail level on what amenities did not meet the park maintenance standards so we can make focused park improvements. So now I'm going to jump to two of our parks, 1 and 4 and 1 and 5, which scored on the low end. So as mentioned in the previous slide, Council District 4 and 5 were the lowest overall. From the moment the assessments were complete, staff have been creating and implementing corrective work plans to improve the amenities which scored low. For example, benches and picnic tables are one of the amenities that failed at Vista Montana Park in Council District 4. It was determined that the species of tree planted around the benches and picnic tables, hackberries, were dripping onto the areas around them on the sidewalks, the benches, and leaving a sticky residue. And you can kind of see picture 1, that's all the residue from the trees, and picture 2 was after staff pressure washed as a corrective to clean it. In addition to the corrective, staff have also created proactive work orders, which included adding pressure washing to the maintenance schedule for this park because we now know it's an issue. Staff are also working with our city forest to look at replacing the species of trees with something that works better in this type of setting that won't cause that problem. Staff have committed to reassessing all of the parks scoring below a 0.87 within 6 months of completion of the initial assessment period, with repeated, more frequent assessments being completed for lower scoring parks. Reassessments will be scheduled based on park condition assessment and HPI, or Healthy Places Index score, for each park. Staff have currently not reassessed Vista Montana yet, as we have ongoing irrigation issues that are affecting the green stormwater infrastructure area, so we know that we still have work to do at that park before it's brought up. Okay, so our next slide shows Mayfair Park. As was mentioned in the previous slide, staff developed a work plan to address low-scoring amenities. In its initial assessment in August, Mayfair Park in Council District 5 received an overall score of 0.4 out of 1. The turf at Mayfair Park failed in every category and was rated as a 0 overall. The score was largely a result of an irrigation pump issue, which has since been repaired. Mayfair Park was reassessed in February 2022 and received a score of 0.8, which is better but still below average, so we know we need to make improvements. This park improved in every category on the new assessment except the playground, which is slated for replacement in 2022. Staff will continue to work on improving care of amenities at this and other parks to ensure they are being maintained according to parks maintenance standard to the best of our ability and within our resources. So now I'm going to turn it over to Avi.
Thank you, Tori. Avi Otam, Deputy Director of Parks. Park maintenance confronts myriad challenges to deliver consistent results. First, maintenance is made more time-consuming and expensive due to aging infrastructure, like bleachers, that are showing their wear and tear. And we also know that higher maintenance levels help extend the life of certain assets. As of the 2020-2021 fiscal year, the department's deferred maintenance infrastructure backlog was estimated to be $424 million and continues to grow each year. Many parks experience impacts from encampments. We share that not to place blame on residents living in these situations, but in recognition that maintaining public spaces for all is a challenge. Staff deemed 35 parks to be highly impacted, and they had an average PCA score of 0.78 or 78%. We also know there are some deficits in our staffing model. And just to give one example, is how forestry is funded for the department with a budget of $150,000 annually to meet the tree care, planting, and removal needs of 209 parks and approximately 30,000 trees, as explained during the Community Forest Management Plan item discussed here a few weeks ago. And last but not least, vacancies continue to be a challenge. Our maintenance positions are experiencing a 20% vacancy rate, which has steadily trended up since a concerted effort brought vacancies under 10% a few years ago. The vacancies compound a brain drain as highly experienced employees retire, and that creates pressure to fill higher positions with employees who have risen fast through the ranks when historically people had more time to master each skill and discipline in park maintenance. So what are we going to do about it? It all starts with investing in our current staff. Our park district maintenance teams conduct day-to-day maintenance, including grounds maintenance, landscaping, litter collection, irrigation repairs, and more. To address the loss of institutional knowledge, we have created and implemented a training series that we rotate through our maintenance teams every other week. We are, of course, planning to open recruitments for many positions throughout the spring as well. We want to note that when we speak with our crews about what they need to do their jobs, we consistently hear three things. 1, hire more people. 2, get more vehicles and equipment. And 3, improve the park yards. On the yards, we commissioned a yard study in 2019 and 2020 and have identified short-term improvements to Wi-Fi and yard security to help make the day-to-day work of our employees better. On vehicles and equipment, we're working with our Public Works Department to strategize around ways to replace vehicles. As of this moment, PRNS has about 61 redline vehicles and pieces of major equipment that are not out of service for repairs, but actually completely removed from the fleet. For perspective, that's about 15% of our department fleet of vehicles and equipment, and has an estimated full replacement cost of about $3.8 million. Public Works and PRNS are collaborating, and procurement is underway for about half of that at this time, but replacements may still take a year or more to arrive. We've also created and are looking to continue and create even more specialized teams. Centralized teams allow for better utilization of equipment, efficiencies of scale, and targeted training and mentoring. Our Parks Rehabilitation Strike Team has been utilized since 2016-2017 to complete projects utilizing specialized skills like picnic area renovations and bench and barbecue installations. That team is funded through this June. Through City Council action, the Integrated Pest Management and Turf Renovation Team have been funded for another 18 months, and we look forward to bringing that team back together as we can hire and fill vacancies. Looking ahead, we're also planning to centralize mowing efforts citywide as well as our park maintenance repair work. So we all know about the important role of volunteers. They can help fill our gaps, bring specialized skills, and provide staff with insights on how to improve our practices. And we're focusing on having volunteers work closely with our park districts to make targeted improvements if possible based on park condition assessment scores. Volunteerism can give youth and really all community members purpose and civic pride. Overall, volunteers provided an amazing 21,310 hours of labor, or really a labor of love, to their parks in the last fiscal year. And that's just the number that work directly with our programs. We also receive valuable contributions from groups and neighborhood associations who do it on their own or by working with your council offices. They all make a huge difference. In about a month, at the Neighborhood Services and Education Committee, we'll make a presentation about overall department volunteer efforts, but I do want to give a special attention today on how our volunteer unit, led by Leticia Espino, has implemented an equity lens. Our volunteer program has identified parks for volunteer effort by focusing projects in areas with the lowest California Healthy Places Index scores. The California Healthy Places Index is a powerful tool that was built using statistical modeling by the Public Health Alliance of Southern California, and it incorporates 25 community characteristics that are social determinants of health, such as housing, education, economic and social factors. The biggest factors are economic, income and employment, as well as education. Other factors include neighborhood characteristics like park access and tree canopy, and housing factors like affordability or overcrowding. The power of the index is that it factors in a multitude of these social determinants that are known to predict health outcomes and life expectancy, and that this index provides a score for each census tract that can be compared statewide. The graphic on the slide shows 8 policy action areas and the 25 community characteristics that are combined into the overall Healthy Places Index score. We have used this tool as it aligns to our department's goal of healthy communities. We use this in combination with PCA scores. PCA scores tell us the park condition or its deficits, and the Healthy Place Index shows us where we need to do more to help and support community health. At the Neighborhood Services and Education Committee, we received important feedback that we should not put park conditions on residents or place the scores on residents and whether they have time to volunteer or not. And we absolutely agree. We want to clarify and say clearly here that we look at volunteers as a positive solution to help improve park conditions, but they are certainly not responsible for park maintenance. That is our job as staff. On the screen, there's a map of adopted parks in orange and parks that aren't adopted in green. We see that park adoption is not uniform across the city, and there are a lot of reasons for that we understand. And it's for that reason, using an equity lens, we identify where we can provide more services. For example, with our volunteer unit, we selected parks and neighborhoods with the lowest scores for one-day volunteer events, including Rock Springs Park, Children of the Rainbow Park, and McLaughlin Park. The department has multiple partnerships, each bringing a different value to the organization and city, and taking a load off maintenance staff and allowing them more time to complete other responsibilities. Some are organized volunteers who become a Friends of group, as we have seen at the Japanese Friendship Garden, Guadalupe Oak Grove, and at Family Camp, which is opening this year. And some have grown and continue to grow, like Vegelution and the Guadalupe River Park Conservancy. One partnership we want to highlight tonight is the environmental pathway of the Resilience Corps, which utilizes American Rescue Plan funding. The primary focus of the program is always going to be the development and success of the young adult participants. The program is also contributing in important ways to environmental stewardship in parks and along trails. Through this partnership, the department has started rehabilitating all green stormwater infrastructure areas in parks. The Resilience Corps has also undertaken an immense amount of vegetation management and fuel reduction efforts to mitigate fire hazards at Allen Rock Park and along the park chains near our creeks. This partnership is going to have a longer lasting impact than just that. Participants are receiving training and experiences with the San Jose Conservation Corps and other partners that make them terrific candidates for city jobs and other jobs in this line of work. Recently, we hired 2 Resilience Corps members into park maintenance, and they will soon be working within our park districts. And our operational partner, the Conservation Corps, has helped more than a half dozen other participants enroll in West Valley College's park management program, where they will undertake studies preparing them for challenging jobs that we struggle to fill, like park ranger. Park stewardship is central to the city's climate efforts, and parks support healthy people and a healthy environment. It can be hard to quantify that impact, but for one example, in 2016, the Trust for Public Lands estimated that city parks provide stormwater management valued at $6.43 million by capturing precipitation, slowing runoff, and reducing the volume of stormwater that enters the storm sewer. Those numbers have only gone up since 2016. Our trail system plays a key role in safe alternative transportation routes, allowing residents to get out of their cars and reduce the related emissions. In a time of drought, it's important to recognize we have installed 279 smart irrigation controllers and many dozens of flow meters and master valves, allowing for remote and pinpoint control and even water shutoff if there's a leak or mainline break detected. Since Valley Water called for a 15% reduction in water use, we've recalibrated our practices and are trending towards a 20% reduction so far this year, and we forecast savings of $1.25 million in our water budget. With AB 1346 and Air Resources Board regulations now prohibiting production of small off-road engines like leaf blowers that have emissions by January 1, 2024. We are currently piloting an electric leaf blower program to address concerns over emissions and noise pollution. Preliminary results show that it takes our teams about 1.5 times more time to cover the same amount of ground as they could have with gas-powered engines. And looking ahead, we will continue to experiment with products as we seek to convert to electric tools as defined in our Activate SGI plan, while delivering the best service levels possible for the community within our existing resources. Speaking of looking ahead, I would be remiss not to acknowledge once again that on March 13th, 2022, Allen Rock Park will turn 150. It's definitely not every year or every decade when you have a park turn 150 years old. We've been coordinating closely with the council offices of Councilmember Crosco and Councilmember Cohen, and we just really can't wait for all of that to begin, and we hope to see all of you at those celebrations. With that, we recommend that the council accept the report on citywide sustainable park maintenance, including current service levels and areas of improvement, and we are available for feedback and questions.
Thank you, Avi, and thank you, Tori and John. Thanks for all your hard work and good work. So let's go to the public first.
Krista Delatorre. Krista? Okay, Krista, I saw you unmute and then you muted yourself back again. And her hand is down, so I'm going to go to call-in user 3.
Yeah, I hope the city council could vote on this. They could actually spend money for something positive versus all the other things they seem to waste money on. But the parks really need more money. I mean, I go to the Rose Garden almost every single day, and half the time the fountain's broken. And it took, I don't know how long to fix the fountain. It's got both the bathrooms are in need, actually, I don't know, been in the women's, but in the men's bathroom, need of repairs, all inside, needs a new ceiling. And each building, both men and women's bathrooms, is covered with pine needles, which is a fire hazard. It really is, even though they're beautiful tile roofs. And if there's ever such thing as a good-looking bathroom, they are, have good architecture. But yeah, I mean, that park needs a lot of maintenance. They keep up the maintenance as much as they can. A lot of graffiti gets cleaned, but it happens. And they just the fountain needs constant maintenance. I realize, you know, it's a lot of work, but that park's over 100 years old, and it's one of the gems of this city and a very beautiful place. I just would hope that there's enough money to keep it up. The volunteers do great work, and it needs a lot of grass. It's got a lot of problems with broken sprinklers all around the perimeter of the Rose Garden. And the one thing that is not good about it would be Officer Zachary Martinez, who is a terrible person, ogre, if you will. He has no business being in any park, including the Rose Garden. I hope he doesn't work there anymore. But I had a run-in with him a couple years ago. He's an awful person, and so is his partner, Aio, whatever his name is.
Gabby Mendoza. And Gabby put his hands down, so back to council.
All right, back to council. Councilmember Crosco.
Thank you, Mayor. I want to thank staff, John and your team, and everyone who is involved with our parks, including our programming, because our neighbors, our residents depend on them, especially during COVID. But we heard the presentation during NSC, and we thought it was important to have it cross-referenced and heard here by the entire council because it's so important and because our residents depend on it so much. So I have a little presentation, and I'm going to go through it very quickly because it looks menacing and it looks long, but I promise you it's not. So if you would indulge me, please. So for years, I've been mentioning, and this was pre the new tool that we're using, that the east side of San Jose parks were not up to par. And because we were using a different tool, based on that tool, our parks seemed to be doing just fine, or at least compared to the rest of the parks. Well, in my opinion, and in the opinion of many of my residents, it didn't compare. Unfortunately, because we were using that tool, it didn't call for the same kind of attention that it deserved. So now that we're using a new tool, next slide, please, we see that in fact, the parks on the east side of San Jose are among the worst in the entire city. And one of the things that I want to point out is that even though they are located geographically on the east side of San Jose, I want to call to the rest of my council colleagues and the mayor, these are your parks. These are your parks. You are responsible for these parks. I was elected by the east side of San Jose, but these parks belong to you, and this is an embarrassment for the entire city of San Jose. If anyone comes to visit our city, they are our guests. If they come and they enjoy the wonderful cuisine of the east side of San Jose and they decide to Google and find a park to go and enjoy and have a taco, have some pho, enjoy some Indian cuisine, and they want to go sit at a park, at a bench, I'm going to show you some pictures where they're going to end up sitting. It's an embarrassment. So you see Mayfair's at 40%, and thank you so much for including some of the improvements that have been made. In my opinion, it's not enough. Nancy Lane Plaza, Overfeld Gardens, Esther Medina. It's a brand new park, Esther Medina, and look where it's at, 64%. Le Beau, Sylvia Cassell, Capitol, Plata Arroyo. One of the things that was just mentioned was that during COVID, these parks were a lifeline to our residents. They played an important role for socialization, for playing, and even for worship. I'm going to show you some of the pictures. You tell me if you would feel at peace and at zen to go and worship in some of these parks. In addition to that, they're not safe. Some of these kiddos are going to sprain their feet or their ankles, probably have already done so, but parents are not going to come to us and sue us. This is not what Latino parents do, or a lot of our families do. They're just not going to do it. But you tell me if you would go ahead and do that. We have beautiful parks, or parks that have a lot of potential. Next slide, please. I have to remove this. So as you can see, the PCA scores, 4 and 5 are among the lowest. I contend that 5 is still among the lowest. I mean, it's still the lowest. I don't really care. We're neck and neck. It is truly an embarrassment, and we should be all ashamed of ourselves that we have an expectation that our children are playing on these parks, or that this is where we expect them to live in these parks. Next slide. So, next slide. Here we go. This is Mayfair. I want to tell you a little about Mayfair. Mayfair is a beautiful community, but it does not go without its challenges. This is a community that we have invested in throughout the years. And this is a community, by the way, that I worked in way before I even had the notion of running for city council. Never thought in my wildest dreams that I would ever be sitting in this seat. I worked in the Mayfair area when I worked in domestic violence, when I worked with families who were in need of services, when I worked with children who needed support in order to get through school, or who needed support in order to make sure that they met their developmental milestones. Mayfair is the area where, one, we've recognized at the federal level a very important building, because that's where Cesar Chavez learned to organize and got his start. It is just a mile or so away from the Chavez home still. It's where Guadalupe Church, the back of the Guadalupe Church is. It is also an area, for those of you who have worked in education, it is the one area in the entire city of San Jose where we have the least number of children graduating from 4-year institutions. This is also an area which I didn't know, my son had to inform me once I got into council, that is known internationally for a little skate park that has given birth to some very famous skaters, including the gentleman that does a collab with Vans. Angel? Caballero. Yes, he just got inducted into the Eastside Union High School, Eastside Hall of Fame. So at the same time that I did, and I was not center stage, my children were much more drawn to him than they were to me. So goes to show you. So anyway, so this is just a beautiful neighborhood, but this is what now my neighbors wake up to every single day. Last year, they were promised a brand new playground, and this is what they have now. Next slide. So thank you for improving all of those areas that you were referring to. But this is the inside of those bathrooms. This is an embarrassment. This is what my children, not my children that were born from me, these are the children from my neighborhood. This is what they go inside to. We should be embarrassed. I'm going to let you sit with this for just a second. Please understand, what does this say to our kids? That you deserve this. You deserve this. You don't deserve better than this. You're gangsters, you're dropouts, you're poor, you're less than. You deserve this. Sit with it, because my kids sit with it. Next slide. This is the outside of Mayfair. Weeds, that's not due to a broken pipeline. Broken pipes, that's not due to that broken irrigation line either. Graffiti everywhere, that's not due to the broken irrigation line either. Next line. Next slide. And this is Plata Arroyo, another beautiful park. Dirty, cracked, missing net. A park that's highly used. We have a huge group of skaters that Pastor Danny Sanchez, many of you know him, has been working diligently with. A group of young skaters that have been mourning the loss of one of their skaters who died at a hit and run just outside of our city hall here. And who have been trying to figure out how to memorialize him, how to remember him. And so I helped them buy a bench. And we'll be installing that bench this week. Next line. Next slide. This is Plata Arroyo. For those of you who have children, who take care of children, who love children, would you let your children play in that playground? I wouldn't. Next slide. That's the bathroom. They wanted a mural there. Let me give them a mural. I just need to fix the siding of that bathroom. That's all I need to do. Costs $22,000, doesn't it, Avi? That's all it is. I think that's what they told me. Let me fix the siding so that I can give those skaters a mural. Next slide. And this is where they're skating. Next slide. I wanted to show you some slides side by side. That's De Anza Park with an 87 PCA score in District 9. And that's Capitol Park. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Capitol Park. I'm sure Councilmember Foley can tell me about De Anza. Capitol Park is smack in the middle of one of our gang hotspots. And we can tell you a lot about Capitol Park. But Capitol Park is very special. It's in the middle of a very hard working class neighborhood. Has its challenges, for sure. But just because it has challenges doesn't mean that a neighborhood with its residents does not deserve quality amenities. Doesn't mean that because of its challenges, it doesn't deserve solutions. And so we've seen homicides here. We've seen people who have been threatened. And in fact, this was one of the first parks where we had Viva Parks for the sole purpose of making sure that we could activate it with healthy activities where grandparents could bring their grandchildren. We could activate it with city staff, with my team, in order to bring in the kinds of activities that maybe, just maybe, would push out or discourage some of those elements that have made it very difficult for hardworking families, for young children, for the elderly to participate in this park. And so in the summer, every summer since I've been here, we've been activating it with Viva Parks, which has been the purpose of Viva Parks, is to activate parks in poor neighborhoods, in communities where they've struggled, like Capitol Park. Next slide. And this is what little ones are exposed to. Next slide. Again, here we go. So you all have heard about the broken window syndrome. We have to do better. The message that we send to our children is significant, and it has to be better. It has to, everything that we do and everything that we're in charge of has to be about the value that we place on our kiddos. They mean something to this city, and this is not the message that we need to send to them. They're already battling with so much. Next slide, please. And this is what they're playing futsal on. Now, if we're asking our residents to pay for the cracked sidewalks in front of their houses due to the roots of those trees, that some of those were unintended, they bought their houses with trees already, why are we not doing the same thing? Why are we not holding ourselves to the same standards, and why are we not holding ourselves accountable in the same way? Why are we forcing low-income families or families who did not plant those trees or had no idea what would happen to pay for that sidewalk when we're not doing it ourselves? So this is what our children are playing on. They come in and they play futsal there, and they're playing on cracked concrete. Next slide. And this is a tot lot. This is where babies play. Nancy Lane Plaza, by the way, is surrounded by extremely low income, very dense apartments. Next slide. And that in comparison to the Gregory Tot lot. Next slide. And I ask you, where would you send your baby? Where would you take them? I'd go across town. I would go across town. Next slide. And I wanted to just show you, I know this isn't about programming, but I want you to see the discrepancies here, or the disparities here. In the middle, you have the Mayfair Community Center. This is that community center that now has no playground for my kids. And it's sandwiched in between two neighborhoods that are not necessarily in communities with low-income families. And I want you to see the difference in terms of the programming. And I want to understand why there is such a difference in what we're offering the families on the east side and why we're offering families in Willow Glen and in Berryessa such a different menu. I will also tell you that in terms of youth programming, I'll gladly drive my 3 teenagers to Almaden Valley, Camden, and even Evergreen to participate in advanced futsal, debate, advanced engineering, using Legos. I don't know if Diego's gonna want to, he's already 18. Advanced programming in STEM, again using Legos, anime and manga art at Southside, Almaden, and Bascom, archery, because Mayfair has arts and crafts, by the way, with no description in the catalog, and Emma Push has Math Mentor. There's a huge discrepancy in what we're offering our youth on the east side versus the south side, Bascom, and Almaden, and I want to understand why. And I'll tell you that when I was very young, I lived in a poor neighborhood, in an immigrant neighborhood. I didn't grow up on the east side. I grew up in the west side, and Mr. Soto mentions it quite a number of times. We're both from an area called Horseshoe. Councilmember Davis represents that area. I grew up, a great part of my childhood was grown up in the Gardner Community Center. But it's where I learned how to twirl a baton. And so I marched in parades. I learned how to dance folklorico. I also learned how to dance disco, believe it or not. I'm aging myself. But all kidding aside, it's where drama and theater taught me how to take center stage, how to walk into a room and be confident, because my parents didn't speak English. They didn't know how to connect me to the outside world. And it was through the classes that I was able to understand what the US of A had to offer. It's also where they taught me how to build my vision board, how to dream big, and teach me how to get there. We have to do better for our kids on the east side, whether it's messaging through our parks, our slides, through the benches that they sit on with their grandparents, or through the programming that we're offering them. This is not okay. It is not okay for any one of us that is sitting up here and to see this and to see the difference. It is not okay. That's it for me, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Cohen?
Yeah, thank you. And I want to thank the staff for the thorough report. And I appreciate the new methods of measuring a park maintenance quality. Gives us a lot more insight into the issues at each of the parks, and I think obviously helps you as well as you do your maintenance. And I appreciate the difficulty of the task. It's a huge inventory of parks that you have to manage with a lot of variety and a lot of different needs at different locations. So I want to start with that. It's disappointing and not totally surprising to me to see District 4 at the bottom of that list. We know some of the issues with some of the parks. Some of them have been neglected for a while, and others obviously have issues I didn't know about, like trees that drip and damage the benches. How is knowing this data, and I think you talked about this a little bit, but how is knowing this data informing the maintenance plan and programming going forward?
Councilmember Cohen, thank you for your question. So as Tori mentioned in our presentation, where this new methodology is most powerful to us as staff is the very precise, basically amenity sub-descriptions. So as Tori mentioned, in the case of turf, we look at it from multiple factors, and then we can plan ahead for the appropriate mitigation to make that right change. So in the past, our PCA score was on a 1 to 5 scale, which just had very general descriptions of turf. It's 3.0 if it's 50% weed-free and it's generally green. So this one gives us a much more actionable insights that we can then populate into, as Tori mentioned, corrective actions that we've begun taking or forward-looking longer-term mitigations.
Okay, I appreciate that. And I know that one of the parks that's still pretty low on the list, it's a pretty tough park to maintain, is Penitentiary Creek Park behind the community center. It's not the most attractive of places anymore, and there's a combination of reasons for that, obviously due partly to the water problems there in addition to the condition of the turf. It's a huge turf. It's not the same as some of the other parks. I imagine that just like probably the whole east side, but also probably other parts of the city, gophers are a big problem. We know that certainly at that park, we have holes that'll swallow small children and large dogs because of the gophers. What is the city's approach to that issue specifically?
I'm going to ask Tori to answer, but I do want to let you know we had for a period of time an integrated pest management team and then a turf restoration team. We were kind of funding it with some one-time money. That ran out. Those programs went away. And so some of the progress we were making, unfortunately, slipped back. Other areas just got worse than they already were. The good news is we've worked with the budget office and found a way to restore both those programs beginning next fiscal year. So we will be able to start trying to get a hold again, particularly on the rodent issue in the parks, and then sports fields restorations where those kind of things need to be done. So there's good news on the horizon, but we've definitely slipped back a little bit, and I'll let Tori describe.
Sure. And just to give a little bit more detail, we had the IPM turf team, which John just mentioned. And the way that team works, because, we now have the park standards, which lists what our thresholds are, what's there's no acceptable level of holes in a park, but, we're never going to win this battle completely. So we have an acceptable threshold, and those parks that are above that acceptable threshold, those are the parks that we're going to target the IPM team to go out and address those parks. And the role of that team is to bring the level of, we don't attack the squirrels or the gophers. What we're addressing is the safety issue from the holes. And so we want to bring the number of open burrows down to a manageable level by that team. And then once that happens, we turn it over to the district, and then that's going to go to what we call scheduled maintenance, where they're going to go out on a regular basis. Like in some cases, it's twice a week just to maintain at that level.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. And I know it's a difficult problem because our schools back up against some of those parks, and I was on the board there, and they were fighting gophers all the time. And then the problem is the gophers just go back and forth between the park and the school grounds, and it's a never-ending battle. You mentioned park yards. Is there an issue now in certain terms of maintenance, in terms of being able to get your vehicles and other things to certain parks in remoter parts of the city because of a lack of park yards or a bad distribution of where they're located?
Councilmember, we're certainly, and we look at it as kind of a fixed situation right now based on where the yards are. Certainly, if there was a yard in North San Jose and a yard in South San Jose, I think we would have a little bit more opportunity to do better route designs. But with the locations we have now, we're doing our best to design optimal routes. It was actually a topic that came up in the city audit of park maintenance about a year and a half ago. So from the routes we have, from the yards we have, which are primarily the central service yard, we deploy our teams out on a daily basis. But for sure, if there's an opportunity in the future to expand our yard footprint and add spaces more geographically distributed, it would benefit us.
I'm asking that question because of conversations we've had before about North San Jose and the need for a park yard there. And I'm excited that we'll finally do the master plan on Agnew's Park this year, which means maybe we can figure out how to get that in and maybe get started on that in the near future, but we'll continue that conversation. I do want to sort of appreciate the partnership and responsiveness that I've experienced with your office when we have specific issues in our parks. I know, for example, and you know, our neighbors, our residents in San Jose certainly consider the parks to be sort of the first measure of where people are getting attention, where there's neglect, and so we hear from them clearly about the issues in their parks. And we obviously, from the beginning, have heard about a lot of issues in Alviso Park, so I appreciate the attention we've gotten up there. Reopening the community garden this year, getting the bathrooms finally fixed after years of them not being even usable. So I appreciate that we're able to engage with you and get your help. So I just wanted to thank you for that. I also want to thank you for the Sunday Park series. I've been to many of them over the last year. You have a really dedicated Sunday staff that goes out every Sunday. He even had to miss the first half of the Super Bowl this year to be there, to be cleaning up a park on a Sunday. But what's also amazing is the volunteers that come. And they're not necessarily from the local area. It's not, these are people that come from all over the Bay Area and far away because they love cleaning parks and they love coming, and they are regulars at these park cleanups. And getting around to all of the different parks across the city is a great program, and I did want to thank you for that. I think that's another, I was impressed to hear the number of volunteer hours that were put into that program last year, and I think it's even getting bigger this year. So I want to thank you for that. Okay, that's it for my comments and questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilmember Davis?
Thank you, Mayor. I also want to, that's good news. I hadn't heard about the turf and the pest management coming back. That's awesome. I have a big smile under my mask. And I also just want to second what Councilmember Cohen said about the volunteers. Such a great weekend program. I actually had volunteers this past weekend in 2 of my parks, one on Saturday and one on Sunday. And I know there were others. We get the calendar, and so I know there were others all around. It's a great program. And I know not every park gets an adopt-a park, but we've got one area where it's one person who's a retiree who just walks around the park, and I don't think he even pulls weeds, but he's just a good lifeline to the Parks Department, and he's always letting people know what's going on at Del Monte Park and letting us know. And so it can be as simple as that, to just be giving the staff a heads up when something happens, for us to be able to be on top of it. I know with graffiti, we have to have the team come out, and so if someone's aware of it right away and reports it, it can happen pretty quickly. So I just wanted to thank you. And I have one question. One of the parks on my list was surprisingly low to me, and I just want to find out the next time we meet if we could go over if you could have the details for my parks and the scores, so I can know why they got the scores that they had. And I'm getting to know my new parks in my, the new part of my district from redistricting. So it would be really helpful to kind of go through some of those. And I'm doing some parks tours already, but I just wanted to ask for that. And I really appreciate having these all listed out. It's really helpful to kind of think about which ones I need to go walk through more thoroughly. So I appreciate it. Thank you so much for the report, and it was very thorough.
Councilmember Mahan?
Thanks, Mayor. I'll be brief. I also really appreciate the detailed report, all the data. It's really helpful, and I think, just to reference Councilmember Carrasco's presentation, I appreciate her comments, and I'll just say I hope that the this new scoring system enables us to ensure that for districts 5 and 4 and other areas that have been where access to high quality parks is not equal, that we hold ourselves accountable to getting to that high score across the board. So I just wanted to acknowledge her comments and thank her for those. I wanted to also just highlight a couple other things quickly. Well done on the water savings, 20%. I think that's really exciting. Do we happen to know, in addition to the staff time savings, what that means in terms of dollars per year that we may be saving because of the reduction in water use?
Thank you, Councilmember, for the question. So for this year that we're in, we're forecasting a savings within our parks water budget of about $1.25 million. What I think you're also alluding to is some of the benefits of going towards smart irrigation infrastructure
Yes.
are the time savings we face, whereas in the past we had to have crews going out to every park seasonally to adjust our irrigation controllers. Now we can do that on our iPads or on iPhones or back at our offices remotely, which is really a huge benefit for the teams in the field because they can, again, focus on other activities and get a little bit more done. We haven't taken a kind of a systematic look at quantifying that, but that's something that we have interest in doing over the next period of time.
Great. Okay. Yeah, I think that's really exciting, and hopefully that frees up dollars for us to improve conditions in our parks with the worst conditions today. Do we know on just water savings investments, have we made most of the investments there, or is there still potential? I mean, how widely deployed are those systems?
On the controller, and Tori, feel free to jump in. On the controller side, we've actually installed most of them across our park system. There's only about less than 24 left in our park system. The next phase of the project is actually also really exciting for us, which is getting in deeper into the guts of our irrigation systems and installing the flow sensors and master valves that provide us the ability to detect leaks and then shut off the water at the source if there's a leak detected. And those investments have the possibility of saving really thousands of dollars at a time if there's a leak or a mainline break.
That's great. I think that's really exciting. I'm glad we're moving in that direction. Final kind of comment and then a question. The scores seemed clustered at one end of the spectrum to me. A lot of the scores are in the 80s, and I'm just wondering why we're not. It seems to me that looking at the photos that Councilmember Carrasco put up, the complaints we get about certain parks, it just seemed like I would have expected more of a distribution than I saw, and it just seemed like a large number of them were higher on that scale of 0 to 100 than I would have expected. Am I misreading that? How should we be interpreting it? It even seems like the old scores, a lot were in the 3s, and now a lot are in the 80%. It just feels different to me, and I'm not sure why.
So I don't think we can compare the old scores to the new scores, because the old scores were, 1 to 5, and someone would go out and look at it. And we had some guidelines, but staff would say, yeah, that's a 3 or a 4, a 2, based on it. But now everything is broken into multiple categories. And so we're looking at individual, little aspects of each amenity. And so that's how we get that total score. And then in terms of, why the scores might be higher. So park condition assessments are kind of tricky because it's a point-in-time assessment. So, whenever the staff goes out to the park, and does the assessment, that's what they're going to see. So if a crew has just been through there, and we don't plan it, so they're going through after crews, but if a crew has just been through there and cleaned up a park, it's just naturally going to get, higher score.
Sure. Yeah. No, I get that. And listen, I really appreciate that we're moving to a more rigorous, standards-based approach. And I think this is great, and I think it's really an important move. If it doesn't intuitively feel like a 90 to someone in the community, and we're telling them this park's a 91, whatever, that's gonna be a problem. So I'm just flagging that now because some of the scores, just the way they fell on the scale, it seemed like the distribution. I mean, what was the lowest score? I don't recall now. What is it? Was it even?
I believe it may have been the Mayfair score, the 0.4.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Just to add to that, So we're looking at it from a very technical point of view, and that's the reason we're pushing out the public-facing survey,
Okay.
because we also want to get the input. You know, we have the park concerns for people to send us things, but we also want to know what, you know, the everyday park user using the park thinks. And we're going to take those and look at both of those. And that's how we're going to, you know, create our work plans moving forward.
Okay, great. And then final question. You mentioned the vacancy rate within the department's nearly 20%. That's holding us back in certain areas. I believe our citywide vacancy rate is around 13%. Do we know why we're finding it harder to fill vacancies within PRNS?
Maybe I can help,
You know,
John.
yeah.
Let me, I'm just Jennifer. Let me help. We're, right now, it's one of the classes, our maintenance worker series, or one of the series that we're looking at, and we're doing salary surveys on. I think we're somewhat under market.
Okay.
And so that is one area that we do get a lot of our employees. They go to other agencies, and we've had a hard time retaining them. And John, you can correct me if I'm wrong on that, but we plan to come to council soon on that.
Great.
Yeah, I would say, obviously, pay is always a motivator, but we struggle across all of our divisions and across the whole city. We have some recruitments lined up right now coming in. We're also trying to create an apprentice program where we create a feeder into our park maintenance from the Conservation Corps and the work we do with them and or the Resilience Corps over the next year or so. We'd love that when all that federal funding runs out, we have jobs waiting for some of those folks. Now, we're not sitting on vacancies for that. I don't want
Sure.
that to be misconstrued. It's a tough job, you know. It's not an easy job, and it's all outdoor work for the most part. It's back work, right? It's, you know, so it's hard to keep people in some cases. We just see a lot of turnover in the positions, but we're hopeful that this next round of recruitments will be beneficial. And we're hopeful that apprentice pipeline will be successful for us long term of just continuously feeding us qualified candidates.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I really love that you're focused on apprenticeships and building that pipeline in creative ways. So best of luck with that. Thanks again for the detailed report. That's all I had, Mayor.
Thank you. Councilmember Foley?
Thank you. First, I want to acknowledge staff, John, Tori, and Avi for your presentation, and also thank you for being responsive to my staff in working on the various park issues that we have. And some of our parks are in really good shape, and others have serious situations that need to be corrected in, I think, in all of our districts. I want to acknowledge Councilmember Carrasco as well, and agree with her that absolutely every district and every park should be at a level that we are happy and comfortable sending our children to, and where they can have a safe environment and enjoy being out in the outdoors. I have a lot of issues in some of my parks, and one of them was the ones that you pointed to, but I've done some work on that particular park, and what I've noticed in a couple of my parks is that the fields are in really, really bad shape. You know which ones I'm talking about. De Anza Park, for one, has such bad grass that it can't be replaced, or the plumbing underneath, the irrigation system underneath can't be replaced, and so it's actually unsafe for kids to play soccer on it because they twist their ankle. I know they do. I know we've talked about this and how to resolve it, and I don't know that it can be resolved without huge expenditures. The other one, Tori, I know you've been involved in, is Lone Hill, and we've talked about Lone Hill for a long time, about getting that field up and running and functioning again. And I know that we're working on it, and we're funding portions in the ways that we can, but you know, when you live in and have a district that doesn't have a lot of development, you're not getting a lot of park fees either. And I think that's happening in probably Councilmember Carrasco's district as well, just not a lot of park fees. So I see a couple of my parks that I'm actually surprised at how low they are. One is Erickson. Lone Hill, I'm not surprised. we could talk about those offline. We don't really need to talk about them today. But I have, every year we go over the park's budget that I have and how to allocate it. And every year I get asked to allocate fundings on capital expenditures at buildings that are not my parks. And it's kind of a pet peeve with me that I have to pay for the HVAC system or the roof system at Camden Community Center or out of my budget, or at Kirk Community Center. And I think that's when I'm paying HVAC, and I am splitting it now with Beautify San Jose because they're coming in as a tenant. But I find it's very difficult to swallow when I have needs in my parks that will benefit the kids, that I have to take those precious dollars away from the kids and put it in an HVAC system that the kids are not benefiting from at all. So can you explain to me, I know you have tried to, and I still don't accept it, why that has to come out of my budget?
Sure. So most of the capital improvements come from sources other than the general fund, right? And are heavily dependent on development and construction and conveyance. And that just doesn't happen a lot in District 9. That's the reality. And so that system is not serving a district like yours very well because you're not getting the funding you need to do these kind of repairs. Typically, an asset within a council district, we go to the council district funds to look for the funds to repair that. With the regional parks, we might try to do citywide funds, but those are big regional parks, very expensive fixes.
I don't have any of those.
I will tell you, right now, we are in the middle of a process of reevaluating those funds, the capital fund side. We expect to be in front of you in December of this year. We have a stakeholder group that includes not only people that are advocates for parks, but includes developers as well, because that's who we get the fees from, to try to figure out a system, change the way, first of all, the way we even collect the fees or how the calculation we use, but also look at this larger issue of distribution. Because if you look at, for example, I'll pick on District 3 just because everybody sees how much development goes on down here, residential development. They usually have the most money in their coffers at the end of the day. District 6 is another because they get a lot of development, but 1 and 9 and others, 10, there's just not much coming in. So we really struggle to try to maintain or repair those assets. So those are the rationales. I'm not going to say that they make sense or that they're the right ways, but I will tell you that whole fee system and how we collect those capital fees off residential development, we plan to be in front of you at the end of this year with what we'll recommend as a new way to approach it.
So yeah, I look forward to that. So you're going to have some sort of equitable approach on how you're going to allocate it based on the needs of the parks and the areas that they're in, and high resource versus low resource, that kind of thing?
Yes, potentially. You know, I don't want to jump the process. You know, like I said, we got a whole stakeholders group. We're going around to all the commissions and talking to them in the city. We do community meetings. So, you know, we got to get a little further into the process, but those are the exact kind of ideas that are floating around that we're trying to settle on what's the right combination of things that improve the way we use this system.
I appreciate that, and I appreciate that I can be critical of that piece with you every time I talk to you, John. So I appreciate that you graciously listen to me complain every time, and I complain to my chief of staff, why do we have to pay for this? So coming up with some equitable way that we benefit from development in D6 and D3. You know, the Google project, we're going to talk about Google in a few minutes and the allocation of their community benefits package, but they've got a lot of parks going in, and that development is going to be huge, and that's going to stay someplace, and it's not going to benefit District 5, it's not going to benefit District 9 or other areas. So some kind of equitable way is helpful, and I look forward to seeing that in December. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. I appreciate the report. And do you need a motion, Mayor?
I
Or
think
have
we
we?
do. Yeah, I think so.
Move to
For
accept
receipt.
the report.
Second.
Okay, great. Councilmember Jimenez?
Yeah, thank you. Just a very quick question. Obviously, to me, and I suspect to many of us, that one of the issues is that we just don't have enough resources, enough money to get these parks all over the city to where they need to be. You know, I've just seen some, I don't have the number in front of me, but I know I was very surprised to see the exorbitant amount of money for deferred maintenance and such. And so the only question I have is, you know, it's been about 22 years since we as a city, as a Parks Department, has gone out seeking funding from the taxpayers. And I think, in my mind, this is very much a worthy cause that touches the lives of every individual in the city. And I'm curious if someone from the Parks Department can speak to where we are on that topic, if polling has been done, what we think are, you know, possibility of success is, and just general sort of thoughts on the matter. I think it's an important thing to discuss, and I feel like it's sort of, it's not front and center, and I think it should be. And I'm just curious as to why. And so if someone can touch on that.
Sure. Thank you, council member. I'm actually going to punt this over to Lee Wilcox, the assistant city manager.
Thank you, John. Thank you for the question, council member. So the city manager's office, in partnership with the Parks Department, did conduct year testing two different possible parks parcel tax measures at two different amounts to see if there was a viable path for either June of this year or November of this year. And we actually stopped about 60% of the way through because there wasn't a path forward for 2020. A variety of reasons because of that, but really kind of a overall confusion and lack of trust in government overall. So we're continuing to monitor the Public Policy Institute of California and their monthly polling on trust in government that's broken down by sector and region so we can see how things are going. But we're going to regroup with the Parks Department and start planning and looking at various mechanisms for 2024 when there's a presidential election. And any of the council members who haven't been briefed that would like a private briefing on those outcomes, we're happy to set that up.
Okay, thank you for that. Obviously, it's not, doesn't seem to be good news, and the prospects don't seem to be very positive. But I just don't see personally another way in which we're going to be able to fill that gap. And so, you know, I just want to make sure that it doesn't fall off our radar, and to the extent over the course of the next year or two that we can continue to explore that and make sure that once the pulse of the of the electorate is where we think it should be as it relates to support of a measure, I think we need to be ready to pull the trigger at a moment's notice. And so that's all I wanted to express. Thank you for the report. I don't, you know, I'm on my phone, and I was in a vehicle, and I didn't quite hear, and this is obviously on a slightly different note, but I didn't quite hear responses to some of what Councilmember Carrasco was asking as it relates to some of the park conditions in her respective district. And I'm curious if anyone from the staff from the Parks Department can touch on and maybe answer some of those questions. And if those questions were answered, I apologize, no need to sort of repeat them. But if they haven't been, I think it'd be worthwhile sort of exercise to go through some of your comments and opinions to why those parks are in the conditions they're in.
Sure, I'll take that, council member. There were a lot of statements and questions that it would be hard to go sort of all through all of it. I will just try to be clear and say we own this. We're okay with owning this. You know, there's a reason. I'll just give you a quick history. You may not know this or remember this about Avi, the deputy director of parks. His career started as an auditor, so he's very analytical. He actually worked for our own auditor for some years. He came over to Parks. I promoted him into this position to run the Parks division literally a month before the pandemic. He inherited this old score system. He realized it wasn't really effective. It wasn't working for us. We weren't creating work plans or really using it in a substantial way. So he completely changed the system. I do believe that the direction we're heading in is very good. It creates work plans for these low scoring parks. It forces the supervisors in the field to focus on them. and get the work done, and then we rescore them so it becomes a performance thing as well. So I think this system on its own is going to move the needle. But fundamentally, council member, it is a resource issue, like you said. I think we can make improvements, no doubt about it. And, you know, we always are looking for ways to invest. We have budget proposals we're trying to advance this year as well, to continue to invest. I just mentioned how we figured out a way to bring back integrated pest management and turf repair. So we keep trying to do the bits and pieces we can through each budget cycle, but the new system we have, I think you're going to see results. We're already seeing those results. Just those couple pictures show you some results. And as we've said before, we're happy to go through those parks with each of you in your districts or with your staff. You know, we have offered, and I believe most of you, if not all of you, accepted monthly meetings with our park staff so that we can get into these issues and really work on what are your priorities, where you want focus. You know, Avi mentioned the Healthy Places Index. So we have this objective scoring system now, sort of this professional eye, and then we marry it to that index, and that's where we know where to start, right? So low scoring parks, sure, every one of you have low scoring parks. The HPI tells us where to get started in the city. So that's how I'm going to summarize.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and I would say that, you know, in some of the park, you know, Councilmember Carrasco was saying that she grew up in the Horseshoe, and you know, she didn't necessarily grow up in East San Jose, and so some of the parks she mentioned are parks that I frequented when I was growing up, and I hung out at with friends at Capitol Park, for example, or whatever it may be. Right? I went to Mayfair. I grew up near Overfelt Gardens. I spent a lot of time there. And so I know that, and I just say this just so you understand my frame of mind, is that I know that, you know, this responsibility of making these parks what they can and should be, I think it's all of our responsibility. And I'm not necessarily casting blame on you all. I think having grown up in the area, I think these issues have been around for a little while. And so, you know, and from what I can gather in this new scoring system, it seems like we're just simply unearthing and sort of rearing the head of some of what we sort of knew was happening. And I'd like to think that, you know, part of solving a problem is understanding what it is, right? And it seems like we're obviously there. But I just wanted to point out that I certainly don't blame you. I think, you know, some of these parks didn't get in this condition overnight. You know, it's been over the course of many years. And so I just wanted to express that, but I also thought it was, assuming there was no response. That's why I mentioned that, because I thought there was value in hearing a response to some of their comments. So thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. See, Councilmember Davis, you've already spoken, right? Okay, Councilmember Carrasco.
Well, I want to thank Councilmember Jimenez, because I was actually trying to come back to ask that very question, which was, you said something. You said, you know, every district has its low grading park. Councilmember Foley just pointed something out, which was a picture of a park that we put up here, because I think it's a matter of perspective, right? We put it up here because it looks 10 times better than our park, just at face value. If you unearth it or if you dig into it, then obviously it has its issues. But collectively, the district has the worst parks. Yes, every district has a bad park. But collectively, this district has the worst parks. Let me tell you what else it has. The worst canopy. Let me tell you what else it has. The highest incidence of infections during COVID. Highest incidence of deaths. I can go on and on of what else it has. But we're responsible for the parks, not the deaths, not the infections. I know it was a perfect storm. And like Councilmember Jimenez, I'm not blaming you. I'm very frustrated dare say I'm very mad. I just keep getting mad at the injustices that I have to keep bringing up during this time. And 8 years later, it's still here. And so I'm grateful that now we're using a different tool. But I've been talking about this for 8 years. So I'm frustrated. Because I don't think that we needed a new tool to see that there's graffiti all over Mayfair, which is where some of our poorest children live. And when my team goes out there to work on a project with some volunteers, you know, the volunteers that everybody seems to be bragging about, well, I have volunteers also. You know what they were doing? They were taking out kitchen shears to cut weeds at a park because the weed whacker was lent out to the west side because the west side's weed whacker was broken. For how many months? No one could tell me for how many months. The weed whacker from the east side was lent out to the west side. No one could tell me. So I get it. There are some resources that are limited. People are limited, those are resources, I get it, we have a huge vacancy. But there are some things that are within our control, and that's what I want to talk about. Those things that are within our control, those things that we can deploy that are within our control, those things that are in our closets that are within our control, those things that are within our capacity, how are we going to control that so that we can deploy it to those neighborhoods that don't have the one park that the council members here have the joy of pointing out and saying, oh, I want to talk about the one park. I want to talk to you about the 18 parks. Yeah, the 18 parks. That's what I want to talk to you about. I wish I could just talk about the one park. I could sleep really well at night. Those 18 parks really keep me up at night. Plus the lack of canopy keeps me up at night. Plus the people and the children that now don't have their parents because they died from COVID. Or the parents that no longer have their businesses because they had to shut down their doors. Or the parents that are calling me because they're struggling because they still can't seem to get their clients back due to COVID, you know, that kind of stuff. Or they don't qualify for the programs because they're undocumented. You know, normal stuff that hits Willow Glen or Almaden Valley or Rose Garden or Southside. So I want to know, what are we going to do with the limited resources? I get it, with the limited resources, so that we can somehow just send the message to our children, you matter. I'm not going to give you a browned out campus. You don't have to pull out your own kitchen shears to cut the weeds in your own park. You can come out of the overcrowded conditions that you live in, the stuffy apartment, summer's about to hit, there's no air conditioning, you can come out and play. We have a playground for you. That's what I want to know. How do we do that? That's it. Simple.
We use the PCA score, and we marry it to the Healthy Places Index. The Healthy Places Index will lead us straight to a district like yours, and that's where we start.
Thank you.
Hey, John, I had a question about how we come up with the district averages. I noticed when you look at the appendix to the report, one of the attachments, I'm not sure what we called it, maybe it was Exhibit A. It seems like there are lots of community assets. I just looked at, for example, District 3, and you'll see, you know, the Peralta Adobe is listed, the Ellington Library, for example. They may well have some vegetation out in front or something, but for the most part, you know, nobody would call it a park. And those always have really high scores, so like near 100. And then the parks that seem biggest, most frequented, Watson Park or Roosevelt, those are suffering, right, in terms of scores. And I'm just wondering, are those non-park assets being included in the average? Or is the average we're looking at just a park average?
Thank you, Mayor, for the question. So yeah, the council district average includes all the parks as well as the civic grounds. And the reason we do that is those are the responsibilities of our park maintenance effort.
Yeah.
I think what you're seeing is a lot of those smaller facilities, whether it's civic grounds or our small parks under 2 acres or less, a lot of those are outsourced and they are performing higher. And what we look at when we see that is, we always ask the question, what is our contractor doing or what is our staff doing differently? And we see that those small facilities tend to have a simpler footprint, fewer amenities, and then can get a little dialed in a lot better.
Yeah, and I noticed the park that Adobe maintains for itself, you're not going to find kids there for the most part, right? Because it's around a corporate. So I guess, so we're comparing apples to apples. When we do this going forward, could we exclude those non-park assets? So we're just looking at parks? Because I think, for example, District 3 would see much lower scores, particularly given what we know about the parks where kids will end up going, right?
Yeah, yes, Your Honor, we can do that. In fact, though, I think what we would probably prefer to do is take apart those pieces of data. We would still want to track it and report.
Sure.
But we do it separate from the main park
Right,
system.
compare parks to parks, libraries to libraries, that's fine.
Yeah, and I do want to let you know, philosophically, we've been circling around this issue of parks, they're not all used equally, right?
Right.
And particularly when you just contrast, say, downtown to the more suburban areas, right? You have an urban park system in the middle, in the core, and you have a suburban park system, and you have different densities of people around them. And it's not limited to the downtown. There are dense areas, for example, in District 5, District 7, so on. And so we're looking at, when we're looking at the maintenance that those parks get, some of them just going to need more. They're just, for lack of a better term, they're overloved. And it creates a lot of the problems, some of which Councilmember Carrasco showed in her presentation. And so philosophically, we probably need to change how we do maintenance around higher density areas, just because it's going to take more of a beating.
Yeah, no, I agree wholeheartedly because, I certainly noticed the parks I was familiar with that had higher density of use and residents clearly had lower scores. And let's face it, those are the parks that matter the most, right? So I'd absolutely support the recalibration in that way. Tori and her team showed me some of when we were out at, it was a park over in Councilmember Carrasco's district, Overfelt. She showed us how her team showed me how the water, the remote water watering program was working, the electronic monitoring, which seemed wonderful. And I noticed the report made mention of several of these sort of capital improvements around irrigation, which seemed to save us money, it seemed to save water, et cetera. Do we have an estimate, a ballpark of what it would cost if we just went all out on all those capital improvements? And just did everything we could that we knew could save us money and save us water, whether it's labor or just water cost? Do we have a sense of what that is?
Thank you, Mayor, for the question. Yeah, we do have an estimate. I don't have it right in front of me, but we have estimated the cost to fully complete the smart irrigation infrastructure. The next step, as mentioned by Councilmember Mahan, would be the flow sensors and master valves. The one thing we'd note is what we're still going to start facing more and more as our park system ages is the fact that a lot of the guts of the parks are 50 years old and they're going to keep failing. So we'll have better, smarter systems that turn it off, but we'll still have to come through and really revamp all the irrigation infrastructure.
Yeah, I get it. No app's going to magically fit the broken pipe, but it'll certainly tell us when it's broken, which is a good thing. The reason why I just throw that out is, we may have an opportunity for one-time funding now to use, and we may not have in other years. And it seems like the one thing we could do to really provide you guys some relief on your budget is reduce your costs with some technology. and I know you know this already, I'm telling you what you already know, it'd be helpful for us to know, as policymakers, what that trade-off is. And if perhaps you'd be willing to report through the budget process, hey, in a happy world, if we had X million dollars, this is what we could do, and I think it would obviously have a significant impact on your ongoing budget. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Okay. I appreciate that. I look forward to continuing that conversation. And then super happy to hear about, it was 2 Resilience Corps members who got hired, which is fantastic. Love to hear that. I think it was during Tori's presentation, there was a mention of a program around training at West Valley, is that right? Or?
For Rangers, maybe?
Was it for Rangers?
So West Valley College has a park management program that's, again, an ideal program for park rangers, but also anybody really aiming for park management.
Okay, so is that an option? Are we trying to encourage our Conservation Corps and Resilience Corps team members to go there and so they can sort of line up for city jobs? Is that?
Absolutely. The Conservation Corps has helped people register and even taken them on site to help meet the instructors and really get connected and comfortable.
Great.
It's a perfect pathway for us.
Do we have any sense about how many are actually following that path?
Of the new Resilience Corps members, the last I spoke with Dorsey and his staff, I think we were talking about 7 or so.
Great.
But there are others within the Conservation Corps more broadly who've also signed up.
Okay, well, that's wonderful. I'd love to hear that, and look forward to seeing how we can support more of that kind of success. And then I know this goes back a bit to what Councilor Mahan asked, but I guess I was surprised to see the numbers so high. And so I know that, look, this involved a lot more work than I can know, and so I'm not criticizing the model at all. But I just wondered, given the fact that I'm guessing there's still a significant disparity in park quality between, the 83 and the 89, that, there may be need for another recalibration to provide a greater spread where we've got a lot of parks, it seems, bunched up at the top. Just throw that out for consideration. May have already thought that. I do very much appreciate that in the presentation you highlighted Bekesto Park and overflowing trash, because I think John Cicerelli is tired of me emailing him and saying, hey, are we ever going to get anybody to pick up this trash? So thank you very much for including that in the presentation. I appreciate that you're channeling my energy. We look forward to, and it has actually gotten better, so thank you. Anyway, all right, we're on to Councilmember, I think there was one more request, wasn't there? All right, Councilmember Perales.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Appreciate the conversation as well. I had some similar, I think, concerns on some of the numbers here, and I guess I'll be specific so that way maybe John, you can help and see how we got to where we got. For instance, Ryland Park was rated at 3.4 previously, and then now it's 100%. And I'm curious how we jump up. I was concerned as well, kind of with how high some of the numbers were, but particularly I think the 100% marks, like Parque de los Pobladores as well, and recognizing I would rate them fairly high, but curious kind of how would a park like that get up to 100%, and specifically a park, say, like Ryland, that was nowhere near a 5 previously.
Yeah, I'll ask Tori actually to answer that. She has some detail, but I will just reiterate, don't compare it to the 1 through 5 system. They're not comparable, but we definitely hear what all of you are saying, that, well, it seems weird that we have an average of 87. That's practically a B+, and that's not what we're seeing, which is part of why we want to do the community surveys for the people that use the park. We want it because we want to make sure we're truthing this, and it's not just us as professionals maybe having a narrow view. And this is just our first year, so there's likely to be some iteration and some resolution around that. But specifically to Ryland, Tori, if you can comment.
Yeah, so I think what we're seeing this year is the way our new methodology is working is, we're breaking everything down into categories, and it's a pass or a fail. And so something doesn't need to be perfect in order to be a pass. It just needs to meet certain criteria which are outlined in our park maintenance standards. And so if each of those elements in that park met those criteria, that's going to get a pass. And so if everything gets a pass, that's going to give you that 1.0 or 100%.
Okay, that does make more sense. But I don't think that's how our community is going to interpret it. If that's not how we interpreted it, certainly not how I interpreted it. I think you look at 100%, you think 100%, right? You think you missed nothing on an exam, and that might be the case here. Is you pass everything, but you don't really pass it at 100%, right? You may pass it at a B plus, right? Which is surely still passing, but it's not. I think the indication that this gives is that you have the A plus park in certain areas if you got 100%, and that may not be completely true. I do think this is much better simply because it's much more comprehensive and more detailed than the 1 through 5 scale. So I think we're moving in the right direction. Not trying to knock on what we've done here, but I do think it just it's going to need some iterating as we move through the years and looking at how do we be even more authentic in what we're looking at. And I think similarly, there are other factors. For instance, I was looking at St. James Park, and you actually, the 82%, you can look at a park like that and kind of see, well, yeah, the grass is not so terrible, right? And the playground, if it was actually usable for other purposes, right? It's actually not super old or broken down. Certainly pieces of it are, but I think the 82 is a rather reasonable score. But I think all of us recognize that it's also not a usable park for families, for instance, right? And so a score of what the maintenance or maybe opportunity, right, of a park is not necessarily the reality of what the usableness of a park is, and that's just another factor that goes into it, and something that I don't know if we can, if we're going to be able to include that in scores. I wouldn't even maybe advocate that we do that, but it's just a reality of other factors that are at play here on how parks are actually able to be utilized. I would agree with the mayor. I don't necessarily think the averaging and utilizing things like Joyce Ellington Branch Library, is giving a true outlook on the parks either, right? Those are clearly not park facilities. They are under the Parks Recreation Neighborhood Services, and certainly using the same dollars. But I think it would be helpful to sort of see an apples to apples on when it's parks and other parks. That being said, I completely agree with what the direction that you are going, John, and have always felt as though the sheer number of development that we have in D3 and the dollars that come in, right? It's not equitable to be able to have more resources at my disposal simply because we have more development happening, and potentially other parks, right, in neighboring districts are being neglected because they just don't have anything being built up nearby them. And I completely agree with the route that you're going, and I know I've had that briefing with you, and I think this is right in line with the equity issues that we have been talking about now for a couple of years, and how is it that we actually are allocating resources to where they're needed, and not necessarily how we're doing it today, and we should not be seeing the level of disparity that we see today in the same neighborhoods, whatever tally you want to use, as Councilmember Carrasco was pointing out. These same neighborhoods shouldn't always be at the bottom of that list, and that's what the equity approach can help us do. And I think you answered it very succinctly, right, in being able to utilize these scores, and then focusing the resources in areas that have that need, and that that is something that we are working towards, and I look forward to that. Last comment, and this is a newer challenge and it has to do, and I think it's just unfortunate, but I think worthwhile pointing it out. We're very proud to have a new park, Tamian Park, and it scores high, and it should score high, right? It's a brand new park, nice fields, open fields, soccer fields, courts, and track. And unfortunately, right, we've allocated resources to it, and you would assume that a new park like this, right, you wouldn't need to allocate significant resources to so soon. But we have a challenge at Tamian Park that I just learned. It sounds like we're going to have to take ownership of. We thought maybe it would be a contractor issue, but it looks like we utilized potentially some grass that we hadn't used before called Kentucky bluegrass. That grass didn't match up well with the soil that was there. And now what we have is a patchy soccer field with a bunch of dying grass, and we have a only a few real options to resolve it. All of them, taking resources, some more significant than others, and the less significant resources mean a much longer, for instance, several years to fix. And this is just right in this case. These are, in my mind, unacceptable mistakes because we know we have limited resources, and it just pains me to know that, right, we may have to allocate more resources to a brand new park because, right, potentially internal mistakes that were made on our end on whether it was the choice of grass or the mixture of the soil. Again, I'm not an expert here, but I think this these are the kind of mistakes that we can't afford to make, quite frankly, right? Because we have the limited resources, and now council member like myself is put in difficult situations to go, damn, do I put more money back into that park that's brand new, and now we've told everybody they can use it, and maybe they won't be able to now because all of a sudden within 2 years it's unusable, and take that money away from other parks that desperately need it? Or do I say, sorry, we're going to have to come around to you in a couple of years, and obviously that'll be somebody else's issue now coming into the office next year. So it just makes it that much harder. And I think you already know it. You don't have to necessarily respond to that one unless you want to. But I think it's just, right, we as well have to be so very, very diligent about the resources that we have, and opening up a brand new park, right, having a mistake like that in my mind is just not acceptable. That's it. Thanks.
Councilmember Cohen.
Yeah, just one more question that occurred to me when the mayor was asking his questions. He mentioned trash pickup, and I had been meaning to ask a question about the process that's used to do pickup, and also the question about how we determine how many receptacles there should be in parks. We've had complaints in our district from people who say, I can't find a place to throw out garbage, and what would be our process for improving that if we feel like we have a need for that? And I'm sure this is an issue in other parks too.
Okay, so first I'll respond to trash pickup in parks. And so our parks are serviced generally depending on the size and how often they're used. So parks are seen Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, or Tuesday, Thursday, depending on the amount of traffic in the parks. And the busiest parks are seen on Saturdays and Sundays. We do have trash pickup on those. In terms of receptacles, if you feel or your constituents feel that there's a park where we don't have enough receptacles, we can add receptacles to those parks, and we do that quite often. So just, have your staff reach out to us, or the constituents can reach out to the Park Concerns line, and we can take care of that.
Is there a measure that's used to determine, from your perspective, is there something you do, an evaluation about whether there's how to decide what the right number is, or is it mainly just by anecdotal need?
I don't know if there's a measure. I know when a park is designed, we place the trash cans in areas where they're most likely going to be utilized, like around playgrounds, picnic areas, that type of thing. But that, design doesn't always work once a park is actively used.
And I'll add, the use of park changes with time, right? We see, for example, in the last couple of years during the pandemic, people being willing to drive up into parks and have their own events, unpermitted or anything. It produces a whole lot of trash, and we don't even know about it till we show up Monday to pick up the trash, and the whole place is trashed. Or they break the irrigation or things like that, which of course lower the score of the park and lower the usability of the park. Or just more housing gets built and there's more people using it. In the pandemic, we saw a big bump up in use of parks, even though the density of the city didn't change. Everybody just got outside. And so that put pressure on the system. So it is kind of a moving thing. And sometimes you go, yep, we need to add more. And in some cases you won't because nothing really changes. So there isn't a perfect metric for that. It is more anecdotal like you suggested.
Councilmember Carrasco, did you want to speak again? Okay, because that's your name was on the board. All right, so
I have Esparza's hand up.
Councilmember Esparza.
I just wanted to say a couple of things. I wanted to add to piggyback onto what Councilmember Carrasco talked about in terms of the parks, and actually Councilmember Perales said this is, the infrastructure is one of the reasons why equity is so important. Density is important, particularly in the East Side where you have households of 15 to 20 people, and because that's what it takes to make ends meet, and it impacts the infrastructure. They don't have a backyard. We say all the time that the park is their backyard, the library is their living room, and that's true for a lot of the city. And one of the other things that I wanted to add my voice to was Councilmember Perales talking about the usability of parks, and certainly, some of the photos that Councilmember Carrasco brought forward. When a ball field is covered in needles, families and children are less likely to use it. When the bathroom is tagged and the toilets are blocked, families and children are less likely to use it. When a park is sort of owned by gangs, the neighborhood is afraid to use that park, right? And so these venture into other things about the whole concept of usability of a park, I think is something that we really need to also look at, because for whole neighborhoods, they don't have anything else. They have that resource and that's it. And so I just wanted to add my voice to Councilmember Carrasco's concerns. And I'm glad that we're talking about density. I'm glad that we're talking about usability, because to me, those are components of equity. The parks are heavily used, in some neighborhoods, because that is all they have. And that should be factored into the equity and the scores and how we take care of them. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, I think that concludes our conversation. We do have a motion from Councilmember Foley to accept the reports. Unless there's anything further, let's vote.
Jimenez?
Yes.
Perales?
Yes.
Cohen?
Aye.
Carrasco?
Aye.
Davis?
Yes.
Esparza? Yes. Foley?
Aye.
Mahan?
Aye.
Jones?
Aye.
Liccardo?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for your hard work. We know this one's hard, and but it matters a lot to our community, so thank you, John, Avi, and Tori. Okay, we're on to 8.1, which are actions related to the allocation of community benefit payment from Google. And as Nancy and team are making their way down, I just want to say a big thank you to Google. Keeping your commitments in the world is important. There's something to be said for that. Accelerating your commitments, there's something to be more to be said about that as well. And Google has not just kept their commitments, they're accelerating them to the community, and we're very grateful that they've been such a good partner. Nancy?
Thank you very much, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Nancy Klein, Office of Economic Development, Cultural Affairs. I'm here with Lori Severino, Angel Rios, Jeff Fruster, and Jill Bourne to discuss allocation of early community benefits, as the Mayor mentioned. These are the payments from the Downtown West project. In May of 2021, the Council approved the Google Downtown West project that included a development agreement which outlines up to $200 million in community benefits, including $7.5 million in early payments to the city. At that time, the council directed that the early payments would be directed to categories of expenditures, like homelessness, anti-displacement, education, training and jobs, and scholarship. At that May meeting, council also directed that staff should come back to council in order to discuss specific allocations of dollars. Google made the first payment of $3 million of the early payments, and staff came before council to allocate those dollars in August of 2021. Now Google has made the second payment of $4.5 million, and we're here to recommend specific spending locations this evening. Lori will further describe the proposal before you.
Thank you, Nancy. So I think they're working on getting the slides up, but it is up on the screen there, our recommendation. So I think we're on slide 3, I believe. So that'll be a table that'll show our recommendations for the $4.5 million of early funding. So the previous council direction was to, Yes, so this is the previous council direction from the May 2021 supplemental memo. And so this was to allocate $3.25 million to support opportunity pathways for underserved or at-risk youth and adults. So this includes things like extended learning, scholarships, career exploration opportunities, and training programs. It could also include early childhood education and child care services to support workforce participation. The council also allocated $1 million to programs at the Gardner Community Center to support economic recovery and build community among residents of the broader Diridon Station area. The direction for this item was to do neighborhood listening sessions to inform the specific programs. And lastly, in the third row in yellow, council allocated $250,000 for staff to set up the new Community Stabilization and Opportunity Pathways Fund, as outlined in the Downtown West Development Agreement. So consistent with council's direction, here are the staff recommendations. So first, we are recommending that $1.5 million goes to the San Jose Aspires program, which promotes post-secondary readiness among high school-age students by providing financial awards as they complete curriculum and activities. Next is $625,000 for a new program using an earn and learn approach to occupational skills training and paid work experience, focusing on high growth, high wage careers. The third recommendation is to provide $600,000 in subsidies for participants of workforce development programs to cover childcare costs required for their participation in the program. The fourth recommendation is to allocate $525,000 for a new staff position to advance the work on the city's college and career readiness system. This supports the broader goal to improve education and employment outcomes for San Jose's youth by ensuring that the city's efforts are strategic and coordinated across the system. So the 4 top rows in green make up the $3.25 million for the Opportunity Pathways category previously approved by council. So for the $1 million in neighborhood programs centered on the Gardner Community Center, We've been working with neighborhood leaders who will lead the outreach process with support from city staff. The process will generate the specific recommendations for the programming, and we plan to complete the outreach over the next 6 months. And the staff recommendation for the $250,000 for fund setup is to hire a consultant to help establish and run the new Community Advisory Committee, to compensate the third-party fund manager until the funds from Google come in, and to use some for public engagement related to this process. And so we'll also reserve a small portion as a contingency. So I'll pass it back to Nancy for the final slide.
Thank you, Lori. Staff is able to share additional positive news. Currently, the development agreement states that Google will make payments at certificate of occupancy for office buildings. In this instance, instead of waiting till certificate of occupancy, Google will make a payment of $15 million to the fund within 120 days of starting construction. This would cut time, 2 to 3 years, off the time it will take for the city to receive the first payment. And it results in earlier investment of the funding in community stabilization and opportunity pathways programs and to the people of San Jose. That concludes our staff report, and we will now take any questions you may have, and thank you very much.
Thanks for ending on a high note, Nancy. Thanks to you and Lori for your great work. All right, let's go to the public at this time.
Krista Delatorre. Krista? Okay, I'm going to move on to Jeffrey Buchanan.
Members of the council, Mr. Mayor, thank you so much. Certainly would like to thank Nancy and her team for their collaborative approach around the issue of community benefits and the Google development agreement. I think this really still stands as the model for what we should try to aim for in terms of a partnership between the city, a developer, the technology industry, labor, and the community. And I believe this is a really important step forward, this early payment and the steps towards creating the stabilization fund. We really have an opportunity here for the city to be a leader in how we, not just addressing displacement, but how we address displacement by centering those who have the most experience, who are feeling these impacts directly, who are they themselves experts in what's needed to really stabilize a family, a neighborhood, a community. And so encourage the council to continue to work towards seating the community advisory body, making sure that we have those community experts that have that culturally appropriate knowledge, that understand our working families here in San Jose, to make sure that we can make the most of this opportunity going forward. I'd also like to thank Google for the early commitment of the $15 million at the beginning of construction of that first phase. That was something that we as Silicon Valley Rising and our community partners had really been urging Google and the city to work towards. And so much appreciation for the collaboration that we've seen, not just with the initial agreement, but subsequently to really try to make this fund a success and to get moving as quickly as possible to show real impacts in the community going forward. So very excited to continue to work with all the stakeholders and make this a success. Thank you so much.
Catherine Hedges.
Thank you very much. My name is Catherine Hedges. I'm from downtown and a member of Packed Housing Team. Today I'm speaking about the community benefit payment from Google. As a result of years of meaningful community conversations, we find ourselves in an ongoing commitment to ensure that this fund is to the benefit of San Jose residents and it reflects community priorities. It is imperative that this fund be led by a community advisory committee that represents lived experience in San Jose. The agreed upon structure of the advisory committee allows for meaningful collaboration between community members and local representatives to have a voice in the initiatives that will impact our city. To ensure the success of this fund, the thoughtful selection process needed to ensure community voices are at the table is of highest priority in 2022. And we're holding a major opportunity to funnel resources into areas of high need for our community. I'm very hopeful about the possibilities of this agreement and the priorities just listed by the presentation, and look forward to continued conversation about the direction of this work. Thank you for your time.
Mary Helen Doherty.
Yes, I'm Mary Helen Doherty, also a member of the Packed Housing team. And I'm very grateful for the opportunity for our organization and so many members that have participated in the SV Rising Coalition over the last few years. And it is really critical that the city prioritize the lived experience of community members by ensuring that the Community Advisory Committee that's integral to the distribution of the community benefits be community-led. It's imperative that the Community Stabilization and Opportunity Pathways Fund, that must be led by Community Advisory Committee members, fund the priorities also that are defined by community, which include not only the preservation of affordable housing and protections for tenants from evictions stemming from the tide of displacement and lack of affordability. In addition, I believe the racial equity definition recently approved by City Council must guide the funding outcomes that are made from this fund. Thank you very much.
Marcy Gersten.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Marcy Gersten. I'm also with PACT's housing team, and also wanted to speak up along the same lines in support of the allocation proposed by staff. Community members have spent years now in conversation about community benefits from the Google project, and we remain committed to making sure that this fund benefits San Jose residents and continues to reflect community priorities as this allocation does. We hope that funds from the Google project will continue to be directed toward priorities as determined by the community, including preservation of housing, community ownership, and protection for tenants, especially from evictions stemming from displacement and lack of affordability. These issues remain at the forefront of concern for many San Jose residents. We're looking forward to the creation of the Community Advisory Committee, which will use the knowledge and lived experience of community members to direct funds as things move forward. These funds from Google are a real opportunity to make sure that resources are channeled into areas of high need as set out by members of our community. And we look forward to seeing that the funds from this tranche and future tranches that will be allocated and used in ways that directly benefit those most detrimentally impacted by the project. Thank you.
Nolia Rodriguez.
Hello, my name is Noelia. I'm a student at Oroville High School. I'm a student in the program SJ Aspires. This program has taught me how to improve my writing and math skills. My favorite courses are those related to math. I signed up for Khan Academy account and students rising above the supports my math and writing development. When I grow up, I want to work with the high school students like me now and help them with their education. After high school, I want to go to a community college and begin courses in child development. My family did not go to college and doesn't have a lot of money. SJ Aspires is helping me reach my dreams by awarding me scholarships that I can use for college. Without their scholarship help and resources, I will not be able to go to college. Thank you, Mayor Liccardo, for launching SJ Aspires, and to the City Council for supporting my dreams.
Rocio Molina.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. My name is Rocio Molina. I recently joined Catalyze SV as a Community Engagement Manager. Thank you, council members, Mayor Liccardo, and staff members for your recommendations today for the fund. I am happy to see that community engagement is a priority, not only for the staff and for the council, but also for the community here today, expressing the priorities that they would like to see for the fund. Catalyze SV is ready and willing to support the work of the staff and the city as they launch this project, and particularly in the area of public engagement, as we have done in the past through the work that we did with the city and the artist creative community, as well as the Vietnamese community. We have the language skills and the community resource and connections to connect with the appropriate networks in order to access those populations that may not necessarily participate in all of the existing meetings and existing platforms that are available to them. So we are very excited to see this program be launched and to work with the city as well as the community engagement committee that will be directing the fund. Thank you for all of your work, and I look forward to working with all of you.
Vito Chiala.
Good evening, Vito Chiala, principal at Overfeld High School. Mayor and City Council, thank you so much for your advocacy for public education and your dedication to making San Jose a more equitable city. I specifically wanted to speak on the merits of allocating the Google Community Benefit Funds towards the SJ Aspires program. For us, SJ Aspires is not just a scholarship program. It is specifically targeted to support students like Noelia, who will be the first in their families to go to college. It's not that it's a scholarship fund that makes it unique, it's the way it supports these students. Number one, it's integrated into their entire high school educational experience by providing these scholarship awards for things that successful high school students do, not just in their senior year, but in their 9th, 10th, and 11th grade. We're talking about GPAs and test scores, but we're also talking about athletics, community service, getting help when you need support, getting a job. So it's really woven into their high school. And it's not a limited scholarship. The fact that it's being applied to large numbers of students, enough to shift entire school cultures and make a substantial difference, not just for individual students, but at a macro level for large numbers of students, makes it unique in terms of scholarship programs. These awards motivate students and eventually help them to pay for college. And we know that paying for college is an obstacle for students, and especially first generation students. But almost as important as that is that this investment made by the city and really by Silicon Valley corporations like Google is a clear sign to these students that they're valued by our community and that their potential is recognized, that they are seen. See, I know these students. I work with them every day. I see their strengths, resilience, creativity. I know that empowering these strengths with education will make San Jose a better city. It will also make Silicon Valley more competitive and more just. This investment is not just good for these students, it's good for all of us. Thank you.
Neosha Farangi.
Hi, thank you. My name is Neosha Farangi, and I'm a representative with the Fight for 15, a union campaign which represents fast food workers across the state of California, which includes fast food workers in District 15, which encompasses San Jose communities. I'm speaking today in regards to the community benefit payment from Google. As a result of years of meaningful community conversations, we find ourselves in an ongoing commitment to ensure that this fund is to the benefit of San Jose residents and that it's reflective of community priorities. In the spirit of this agreement, the fund should be directed to tackle priorities on preservation, community ownership, and protections for tenants from evictions stemming from the tide of displacement and lack of affordability. The directions of the Community Advisory Committee will be of significant importance. I hope that the city continues to prioritize community voice to ensure that the residents of San Jose benefit from this plan. We're holding a major opportunity to funnel resources into areas of high need for our community. And I'm hopeful, alongside these advocates who have spoken today, about the possibilities of this agreement, and look forward to continued conversation about the direction of this work. Thank you for your time.
Andrea Portillo.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Andrea Portillo, and I'm the Community Organizing and Policy Manager with Somos Mayfair. I'm also a District 5 resident. Before I jump in regards to the community benefit payment from Google, I really just wanted to elevate the voices of Councilmember Carrasco in the earlier item and just support how much she's advocating on behalf of our district. I'm speaking today regarding the community benefit payment from Google. As a result of years of meaningful community conversations, we find ourselves in an ongoing commitment to ensure that this fund is to the benefit of San Jose residents and that it is reflective of community priorities. In the spirit of the agreement, the fund should be directed to tackle priorities on preservation, community ownership, and protections for tenants from eviction, stemming from the tide of displacement and lack of affordability. The direction of the Community Advisory Committee will be of significant importance. I hope that the city continues to prioritize community voice to ensure that the residents of San Jose benefit from this plan. We are holding a major opportunity to funnel resources into areas of high need for our community. I'm hopeful that about the possibilities of this agreement and look forward to continued conversations about the direction of this work. Thank you.
Blair Beekman.
Hi, thank you. Blair Beekman here. Thanks a lot for this item. It's nice to be learning how a community can be involved with the future of its funding issues, and that's an important concept. I know Paul Soto and myself were both very interested in the future of Google funding for neighborhood programs of San Jose. A reminder, as we went over this item last year, the week before the events of the VTA, it was kind of a watershed moment for myself in my life, and it explains my life. Where just as we were kind of reaching a conclusion as a community, for good and bad, for better, for worse, then these terrible events happened at VTA, and I was hoping it could set a pace. It was an interesting meeting last year, this time, or in May, I guess. And at that time, we talked about, Jeffrey Buchanan talked about the ideas of, and he's kind of said it today too, that this is a combination of many things that we're bringing together all under one umbrella and one roof in San Jose. And part of that is the ideas of technology. I mean, all of this is about how we're talking about the future of a national security state in this country. And for all the goodness that, our future of affordable housing ideas and funding practices and community efforts working towards these good goals, and being sure to definitely that ELI and VLI can be a part of the future of Google Village. From all of that, we have to be considering the concepts that this is national security technology. We really have to have open public policies and accountability for the future of our technology in local communities. There can be ways to really do this really easily, and there's good guidelines available. And just a reminder as we move forward with this sort of project. Thank you.
Leslie Gomez. Leslie, your Zoom needs to be updated. We still have 6 hands up, so if you sign off, download the update, you should be able to get back in. Gabby Mendoza.
Hi, how are you? Good evening, Mayor and City Council. I just want to say thank you, Carrasco, because you're beautiful. You with me. I pushed the wrong button. I'm sorry. I was going to talk about the Eastside parks, but you kill it. You did it. Thank you. Thank you for the Google project. As a tech cafeteria worker, I hope this project gives the future, which is the younger people, the tools necessary, so that way they don't get displaced and they get good jobs, because it's very important for this city to invest in the future. Like a lot of the people already said before me, that's the way to go. Keep the tech companies honest, because somebody has to do it. Somebody has to do it, and just keep doing the good work you guys are doing towards this funding from Google. And if Google wants to come in a city, they have to pay for the nice weather and the very good people that they're gonna get to work for them. And I hope they produce many, many jobs and help the economy of this great and beautiful city and our neighborhoods and the class, the middle class workers like myself. Thank you very much.
Sorry, Krista?
Hi, my name is, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Hello, my name is Krista Delatorre, and I'm here today to speak on Google's community benefit payment on behalf of the South Bay Labor Council, We represent over 100,000 working people in San Benito and Santa Clara counties. In order to be successful, this fund must reflect our community's values and uplift San Jose's working families. As such, the City Council needs to actively recruit residents to help lead the Community Advisory Committee. This will help guarantee that the residents of San Jose can give our elected officials meaningful input on the initiatives that will impact our city. Moreover, to address San Jose's unaffordable housing and displacement crises, this fund needs to prioritize preservation, community ownership, and protections for tenants from evictions. Google's community benefit payment presents a significant opportunity of our city to direct resources to high-need areas in our community. We look forward to working together to ensure that this plan centers working families, and we hope to learn more about the selection process for the Community Advisory Committee. Thank you.
Jorge Ramirez.
Hello, everybody. My name is George Ramirez, and I'm a ninth grader at San Jose High School, and I am a student in the program SJ Aspires. And I simply wanted to take these 2 minutes to give my thoughts on the program. This program has taught me a whole lot about inspiration and motivation, and a bunch of other key factors in developing a future career. Thanks to events like the mentor meetups over Zoom. When I grow up, I want to become a criminal defense attorney because I feel like I would be fulfilled to have a job like that. And luckily for me, SJ Aspires helps me earn scholarships and as a result accomplish this goal. After high school, I have plans on going to college, and my family didn't get to go to college, and SJ Aspires is really helping me turn my dreams into realities. Without any of these scholarships or financial support, I wouldn't be able to go to college. I would just like to personally thank Sam Licardo, the mayor, for launching SJ Aspires, and to the city council for supporting my dreams. You guys are the best.
Yolanda.
Buenas noches. Hola, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es
Can you
Yolanda.
wait? Hold on just a moment. Hold on just a moment.
Okay.
We're going to switch to the other audio channel.
It's okay.
Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Hola, buenas tardes. Mi nombre es Yolanda Chávez y soy líder comunitario con Luna. Estoy hablando hoy sobre el pago de beneficios comunitarios de Google como resultado de años de conversaciones comunitarias significativas. Nos encontramos en un compromiso continuo para garantizar que este fondo beneficie a los residentes de San José y que refleje las prioridades de las comunidades. El fondo debe ser dirigido a abordar a las prioridades de preservación, propiedades comunitarias y protección de los inquilinos contra los desalojos derivados de la ola de desplazamientos y falta de accesibilidad a viviendas. La dirección del Comité Asesor Comunitario será de gran importancia. Espero que la ciudad continúe dando prioridad a la voz de la comunidad para garantizar que los residentes de San José se beneficien de este plan. Muchas gracias. Mi nombre es Yolanda Chávez y soy de Latinos Unidos por una Nueva América. Gracias.
Okay, Alex Shore.
Good evening, Council. This is Alex Shore, Executive Director, Catalyze SV. You heard from my colleague, Rocio Molina, earlier. So much good stuff in this memo, and thanks to Council and staff and Google for continuing to move things forward and be responsive to community needs. The city has been doing very good work on community engagement for a long time on the Diridon area, and there's so many good groups in the community like Communiversity that have been doing community engagement here on development issues for a long time. Particularly shout out to the city for the community engagement process it led in 2000, in which it hired 8 nonprofit organizations based in our community, including ones like Somos Mayfair and the African American Community Service Agency, to help with the community engagement process. And it was an open process and an RFP. So in the light of that great work, I just want to raise a concern about page 8 of your memo on allocation of community benefit payment from Google. Is basically awarding $50,000 to a single group to do community engagement in an area. And I think that strikes me as strange. I think with all the organizations we have in our community that do community engagement, I think a more open process would be better. And I think we need to continue, as so many council members do, to champion issues of equity and making sure that a wide, diverse range of voices are brought into the process. And the way the memo reads, it's just a little hazy on how that's going to happen. And so I would ask if council members would consider relooking at this aspect of the memo and thinking about how to create a process that's as inclusive and as focused on the outcomes as you care about. Thank you so much.
Brian Darby.
Very good meeting. Lots of useful information. I kept bouncing on and off because of technical issues. I just want to, this has been long, hard, and a lot emotional. Mayor, vice mayor, Google, and city clerk, and everybody else, thanks very much for doing this. Make sure there's accountability for the money that Google is giving so that as many people in as many diverse areas can be helped. And there's a lot of need, but there's also a lot of hope. Thank you, ma'am. I yield my time.
Sophia Ruiz.
Hello, my name is Sophia Ruiz, and I'm a student at San Jose High School, where I'm currently a junior. I'm in the program SJ Aspires. This program has been able to help me increase and keep track of my volunteer hours and gain experience. When I grow up, I want to become a biomedical engineer because I want to help others with medical innovations. And SJ Aspire helps me earn the scholarships to accomplish my goals. And after high school, I want to go to a four-year university to study. My parents did not attend college, so SJ Aspire supports and inspires me to reach my dreams. So thank you, Mayor Liccardo, for launching SJ Aspires, and to the City Council for the support.
Three, 460.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Good evening. My name is Leslie Gomez. I am a student at San Jose High School. I am a student in the program SG Aspires. Overall, this program has taught me how to connect with outside resources like my mentors that guide me with scholarships, internships, and academic organization. I could continue to independendize myself through achieving the awards, pursuing that potential scholarship when I graduate next year. As I grow older, I've realized I want to attend the University of Washington and become a clinical psychologist for youth like me, as it was helpful for me to have these services as a child as well. SG Aspires helps me earn scholarship money to accomplish my goals. My parents do not go to college, but my extended family in Mexico is pursuing higher education, so they inspire me to do the same here in the U.S. and continue for myself and my personal goals in my academic career. I strive to be independent, as the scholarship through SG Aspires will help me pay for college, whether it be for books, materials, a new laptop, or my savings. This scholarship money will not go to waste, as I plan on using it wisely and effectively for my journey at college. Without a scholarship or any financial support, it would be difficult to pursue my college dreams. Thank you, Mayor Liccardo, for launching SG Aspires, and to the City Council for supporting my goals. I truly do appreciate it, and thank you so much for your time.
Call in user 3.
Yeah, I hope that this money gets allocated correctly and doesn't turn into a boondoggle like many things do. It sounds as if a lot of kids are benefiting, and that's incredible that this is able to happen, because it's very hard to do. I'm also hoping that this new Google Village will put a shine on San Jose, because if you've been down there lately, man, it doesn't look very good, especially around City Hall. It's really depressing. Hopefully this is going to interject development and things that are going to be positive. And so far, Google's holding up to their obligation of giving money to the community, which is great. But I just hope that the city of San Jose doesn't screw it up, because they typically do. I mean, the city leaders. I mean, we have what, $500 million police force. You feel like you're getting your money's worth. Like I said, I just hope that this money keeps going to the kids and whoever needs it for educational purposes or infrastructure, however the money is given. I just hope that it's not squandered. And I'm putting all of you, including the mayor, on watch about not screwing it up. Thanks a lot.
Back to council.
All right, we have our marching orders. Don't screw it up. Thanks again, everybody, for your hard work in getting us this place. And of course, thank you to Google for your commitment to the community. Let's go to the council. I also want to, by the way, thank some students who called in because I know it's a school night. And Noelia, Jorge, Sophia, and their principal, Vito, really appreciate them speaking up for a program that hopefully is helping a lot of their classmates as well. Councilmember Davis.
Thank you, Mayor. Ditto to everything you said, and also thank you to Nancy and Lori making sure that our Gardner money actually happens to be spent with community input. Very much appreciate that. And thanks for the good news about the accelerated payments. That's exciting. I move approval.
All right. Other comments? There is a motion. Okay, let's vote then.
Jimenez,
Yes.
Nice.
Perales, Cohen,
Aye.
Crosco,
Aye.
Davis,
Yes.
Esparza,
Yes.
Foley,
Aye.
Mahan,
Aye.
Jones,
Aye.
Ricardo.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay, we are done with the agenda tonight. We have now time for public comment and open forum. Tony?
I have Brian Darby.
This might be a little bit out by the purview, but I think it's really important that we remember what's going on in our world now. And I was really proud of all of you. This was a very good meeting. Thank you. But, you know, we're on the precipice again. I was 2 or 3, you know, when my dad got called up again because of the missiles of October. And there's a thing, you know, that sort of ages me, but it could happen again. Our ability to not engage in violence to solve political problems has far left behind our technical ability to build better ways to kill each other. I hope Ukraine remains free, and thank you for offering that to us with all the ways you allow us to communicate with you. Thank you.
Dan Meyer.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. My name is Dan Meyer, and I've lived in Evergreen for 12 years. Looking around District 8, the past several years have seen a significant decline. I've been attempting to work with the District 8 office on safety and maintenance issues without success. I have learned that the city wall maintenance is not funded in our annual budget, and therefore will continue to crumble over time. So I have 2 asks. Please approve funding for an inflation-adjusted $250,000 per year to the annual budget for city wall maintenance. Also, please address the safety concerns in District 8 for elementary school students that walk to school every day. Thank you.
Colin User 3.
Hey, you see them handing out AKs in the Ukraine? That's what happens when you have gun control, man. You don't have any defense. Gotta, you know, all of a sudden you gotta start handing out machine guns. But not you guys. You guys want to take everything away. You're gonna give it back to us if something bad really happens. We'll see what happens. But nice you're supporting a Catholic country, considering it's probably the most anti-Catholic city council I've ever seen. But actually, no, that would be the ugliest woman in the world, which was Hammer. But anyway, I digress. You know, you guys can't even light up the rotunda for Christmas time.
Catherine Hedges.
Was that? We have one more, is that right?
I have Catherine Hedges followed by Blair Beekman.
Okay.
Catherine is not unmuting, however. So I'm going to move on to Blair Beekman.
Hi, thank you. Blair Beekman here. Thanks for the meeting today. Thanks for the words of Brian Darby. I agree with what he's saying a lot. You know, it struck me that, you know, it's my hope that, boy, that we can really try to negotiate a peace in that area and that Russia can want to move back to the eastern parts of Ukraine, to the separatist regions they already have as part of a compromise deal. And that way they can allow Ukraine to still be a country. And of course, it would be with the intention that Ukraine becomes a neutral country with Russia just simply taking over the separatist regions, as I think many liberals were actually asking for at the beginning of this, and that we wouldn't have to be going through all of this if they worked that way. It's quite frustrating to decent people that Russia is working in these terms when they could have come in much softer, a much softer approach to address the same thing. Because we don't want the expansion of NATO in the end, and it's asking, and we want peace for that region, and they could have done it in a much softer way. So thank you for that. Thank you for Brian Darby's words. Good luck to all of us, how we can work towards peace in our future. And with 45 seconds, there seems to be a bit of a habit going on in San Jose city government at this time. I think through January, you know, people have been strongly stating their positions about things, and I hope come March we can soften ourselves a bit, and all sides can kind of say kumbaya or just mellow out and see each other's point of view more. How we're moving forward with the future of urban villages and the idea of fast tracking, I don't think that's quite the right approach. You have somewhat of a free pass at this time, but I don't think it should be to continuously pound the idea of fast tracking. It should be a slow process and a thoughtful process. Thank you.
Back to council.
Okay, meeting's adjourned. Thanks, everybody.